Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby, or should I say, welcome back to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. We just witnessed the Lions, of course, overcoming Connacht away from home, so a crucial away victory for the Lions in the URC by 36 points to 14, overcoming somewhat of their own adversity with that early red card to Asenati Ntlabakanye, but the team rallying together and coming across the finish line with a victory and a bonus point. So we await next, obviously, in case you missed it, the Dragons at home from Wales to the Bulls. The Vodacom Bulls, Jake White and his men looking to make it a full house for the South African teams. We saw earlier on the Sharks overcoming Ulster by 22 points to 12. The Stormers doing away with Edinburgh by 43 points to 21. Of course, as we just mentioned, the Lions beating Connacht away from home. And now it's the Bulls' turn to do a number perhaps on their Welsh counterparts in the URC. So exciting stuff if you're a South African fan this weekend in the URC. We just want Jake White and his men to do one and get that victory over the Dragons. Ewan Cross, of course, the referee for this evening's game. Kickoff is at 9:35 South African Standard Time, so we are almost underway. I see in the comments section here, Richard Cummey says, hello, now the Bulls must make it a clean slate for South Africa. Go Bulls. Welcome, Richard. As you tuned in live, to wherever you tuned in from South Africa around the world, give us your comments as to what your score prediction is going to be and who you're supporting, be it the Bulls or any team for that matter. On Forever Rugby and Forever Sports, we do rugby and we take you through it step by step, play by play, live here. And it's always a pleasure from myself, Roots. It's going to be a tough evening for the Bulls, but we see a number of Springboks back in the Bulls side, of course. Kanan Moody moved to outside centre. And as I say that, I'm going to take you through the 23 of each team, starting with the Dragons of Wales from 1 to 23. Rodri Jones, Brodie Collin, Chris Coleman, Matthew Screech, George Knott, Dan Lydiot, Sean Lonsdale, Tane Basham make up the forward pack from 9 to 15. We've got Rodri Williams, Will Reid, Corey Baldwin, Steph Hughes, Joe Westwood, Ewan Rosser, and Kai Evans at fullback. 16 to 23 for the Dragons, Elliot D, Rodrigo Martinez, Luke Yendel, Ben Carter, Harry Keddy, Aaron Wainwright, who's just come off international duty, of course, with Wales. The Six Nations concluding last weekend with the victory in the Six Nations for Ireland, going back to back. Dane Blacker, 22, and Jared Rosser. For the Bulls from 1 to 23, we've got Gerard Steenekamp, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Wilco Low, Ruan Vermaak, Ruan Noktier, Marco van Staden, Mpilo Gumede, Marcel Coetzee, who make up the forward pack there. Zach Berg at 9, Chris Smith, Kurt Lee Aronser, Harold Foster, the exciting, young, enterprising phenom in Kanan Moody at 13, Sebastian de Klerk, and the experience of Willie Leroux at fullback. 16 to 23 for the Bulls. Johan Grobler, Simpiwe Matanzima, Mornay Smith, Reinhard Ludwig, Nizam Carr, Ambrose Papi, Johan Goosen, and at 23, Devin Williams, who's really come into his own since linking up from the Pumas and finding himself a home at the Bulls. So a strong bench for Jake White, but they know it's not going to be an easy feat to come away with a victory here. They know there's an away game next weekend, of course, for the Bulls, to the table topping Leinster. And the Bulls at the moment, due to the results earlier on, are sitting third on the log. They were second, but they equal on points. and just behind on points difference against Glasgow Warriors. So the Bulls will come away with a victory here, should they. Will go into that second spot and then face a monumental task away at Leinster next weekend. But all eyes are definitely on the game tonight. The referee, as I mentioned, Ewan Cross, will have his hands full. The conditions, overhead, underfoot, look great for enterprising rugby, but we know the ball can get slippery. And he's going to have a job on his hands with his assistant referee and TMO to manage this game pretty well. But for the Bulls and Jake White, they know nothing short of a victory. It's part of their aspirations to get to the top of the table, secure a home semi-final in the URC, but nonetheless, a wonderful, wonderful weekend for South African rugby, as all the teams up to now coming away with the victory. As we get underway here, the Dragons kicking off from right to left. The Dragons in black, the Bulls in their white and light blue strip gather the kickoff deep inside their 22, and it's Ruan Nokia who's at scrum off for the moment as they look to exit here via Zach Berger, who shapes to kick from the base. It's not going to be out. There's an opportunity for a counter here. It's the fullback, Kai Evans, who brings it back as they work their way up to the 22 now. The Dragons in possession. The Bulls under pressure early here defensively, but holding their own for the moment after these first couple of phases. The Dragons looking for space down this left-hand side, but the Bulls closing them down. It's going to be a physical battle. It's going to be a battle of wits. And of course, in and amongst all of that, the bounce of the rugby ball always has a part to play. The Bulls almost looking to disrupt that offload there, but in possession still are the Dragons now, who put boot to ball. It's gone into touch via Kai Evans deep into the Bulls 22 on this right-hand touchline. So the Bulls again will have to play from deep and exit. They want to get to the right areas of the field, no doubt. And the line-out set play is definitely an area the Bulls will look to get their ascendancy and assert themselves as the throw comes in via Jan Hendrik Wessels. The Bulls 10 meters from their own try line look to clear via Chris Smith, who doesn't find touch. It's play on. And the Dragons playing from inside their own half, who make it up to the 10-meter mark now. Steph Hughes, ball in hand, is brought to ground. It's a loose ball there. The Bulls all over it legally. And the referee blows his whistle in favor of the Vodacom Blue Bulls, as we see a couple of South African fans in the crowd, but no doubt the majority of the fans cheering on the Dragons. The Bulls will be up against it, but Chris Smith finds a good touch, almost up to the 22 via his boot now, and it will be a line out to the Bulls and their first attacking opportunity inside the Dragons half. As Ruan Nokia gets it, Van Staden breaks away from the line out and feeds Harold Foster. Zach Berger looking to find Marcel Coetzee. There's the Bulls work themselves up to the 22. It's lost forward in that ruck. In fact, it was Ruan for Mark there, who just couldn't hold on to it. And the Dragons breathe a momentary sigh of relief and get the scrum for the moment. One has to wonder if the Bulls are slight favourites, but nonetheless travelling away from home. Unfamiliar conditions. The Bulls, of course, have 1 year before away from home. But if you're a South African side, you're most certainly cheering on the Bulls, even if you support the Stormers, Sharks, Lions, or whoever for that matter. You want to see the South African teams in the mix in that playoffs as the Dragons break away from that scrum. It's put again to the boot. Finds a blade of grass in field. It's on the 22. It's Kai Evans, who's definitely been tasked with getting that ball upfield with his boot. Lovely little grubber there. Willie Leroux just shepherding it into touch. And the assistant referee on the far side says it's going to be a line out. We're back on the Bulls 22. So wonderful exit there for the Dragons. The Bulls are going to need to be efficient with ball in hand. And a slight fumble earlier on there from Ruan Vermaak has created a wonderful net gain for the Dragons. Territory matters, possession matters, but it also matters what you do with either of those two. So the Bulls won't be two-faced for the moment. We're 5 minutes in. The score still at 0-0. No rain for the moment, Orchid. It looks like clear conditions. Will we see some running rugby? The line-out's a little bit loose there from the Bulls. But nonetheless, they gather possession. They're inside their 22. They have the safety of the 22 if they would like to put it into touch. And Zach Burger's at the base as he shapes to kick. Puts it high into the air. It's contestable. But the Dragons come away with possession again now, having the majority of possession for the moment. Kai Evans again coming into the line, the fullback. At the base there, the scrum off. Rodri Williams. It's another boot to ball. And it's into touch again. So they're looking to put the Bulls deep into the corners here. This time around it was Steph Hughes, the inside centre. And you can see the tactics very clear for the moment. Playing with ball in hand for a few phases and then putting it along the ground and forcing the big pack of the Bulls to turn around. Still early days, but the Bulls are going to have to find an answer for that. No doubt Jake White and his men upstairs in the coaching box will be taking some notes. No forward, no matter which team you are in, likes to turn around and go backwards all the time. So the Dragons have seemed to have done their homework, wanting to turn this big pack around. It's up to the Bulls to find an answer to that for the moment. It's still 0-0. Big aspirations for Jake White. Listening to his press conference in the week, he didn't want to look beyond this game. Obviously, they have Leinster coming up next weekend. But he wants to get the job done here first. We're yet to see the likes of ball in hand for Kainan Moody, Kurt Lee Arons, Willie Leroux, or World Cup winning Springboks, all with an opportunity to add value here away from home. A crucial game for the Bulls as they feed the line out now. Just inside their 22 on this right-hand touchline. It's loose again. Contested by the Dragons, but the Bulls come away with possession. Mpilo Gomede looks to break away and get a couple of meters post-contact, which he does. Zach Burger calling for reinforcements, just to get a better angle there. But another unforced error there from the Bulls. It's Ruan Vermaak again. Maybe he's got a little bit of butter on his hands. But as we mentioned, although the conditions are clear, that ball can be very, very slippery when the dew sets in at this time of the evening. Of course, kickoff is 9:35 South African Standard Time. That would make it 7:35 Welsh Standard Time, or British Standard Time, as they would say. So later on in the evening. And the Bulls get a reprieve here with an early free kick. So the referee impatient there at scrum time, giving an opportunity to Chris Smith to clear here from inside his 22 and really get the Bulls in the right area of the field. They've been pinned down for the moment, and they want to start playing some footy, no doubt, with all those exciting backs. The job, of course, has to start up front. The likes of Marco van Staden carries well. Marcel Coetzee is industrious as ever. Mpilo Gomede, the breakaway player for this year, perhaps in the conversation for the Springboks international season later on in the year, but somehow the Bulls lose possession there after contesting in the line-out, but away with it comes Currie Orange. But the referee's whistle stops play immediately there. The Bulls contesting, but unfortunately again lost forward in that line-out. No advantage. But Kai Evans most certainly doing his job so far, putting the ball upfield with his boot. We want to see the likes of Currie Orange counter-attacking. We know how dangerous he can be, the Springbok left winger. But for the moment, we're up to halfway, 20 meters in from this right-hand touchline. And Rodri Williams will feed for the Dragons. Just under 10 minutes gone here. It's still 0-0 here in Wales, as the Bulls look to gain some ascendancy here on the tight head side here. Wilco Lowe has really come into his own this season, also part of the Springbok conversation. But for the moment, these teams, or these players, all a collective to get the job done in the URC. There's no mindset on the Springboks as of yet. Just do what you got to do and do it well, as Currie Orange pumps the ball upfield. The Dragons return the favour. Billy LaRue at fullback. Centre field decides he's going to use his experience and vision and puts it into touch on the 10-metre mark here on this left-hand touchline. So a little bit of a kicking battle there for the moment. We are yet to really see the Bulls get into second gear. Graham says a bonus point will do. Of course, no doubt, Graham. They've got to get the victory first. Unless you mean a bonus point, a losing bonus point, we don't want to think of that. We want a victory. The Dragons win the line out and look to set up a driving maul. The Bulls, for the moment, holding them up. The referee calls use it once. A scrum off shapes to kick there as the Bulls come away with it now. Currie Orange. Is there space here? Harold Foster gets the ball. There's good support for the Bulls here as they go upfield. The ball is still in play for the moment. Just Rolls into touch there, but the Bulls from inside their own half had to defend. A driving maul there. The referee called use it for the Dragons. And somehow the Bulls come away with it. Some wonderful support. And then Chris Smith putting it upfield. And we're up inside the Dragons 22, and it's going to be a 50-22 as the kick was inside his own half. So wonderful thinking there from the fly-off now, Harold Foster. After that successful line-out, Zach Berger, quick ball to Marco van Staden. Now the Bulls look to get into gear. Marcel Coetzee, route one. Here come the Bulls. Mpilo Gomede, you can't just stop him. Is he over the line? Held up, says the referee. Brushing away defenders. Like mosquitoes on a summer day. Mpilo Gomede, he knows his way to the try line, but just for the moment, the fly-off of the Dragons there. Will Reid managing to wriggle himself between the ball and the grass. He was over the line, but just couldn't get the ball down. It's held up. We see the power of Mpilo Gomede really having a breakaway season for the Bulls. And it's going to be a goal line dropout here for the Dragons, but the Bulls showing there when they can get into gear. They can make some post-contact meters there as the Bulls break away now. Jan-Hendrik Wessels trying to find a support. It's a bit of a loose ball. Marcel Coetzee fighting for it. The Bulls just not managing to hold on to the ball there. Some unforced errors with the handling there for the moment. The Bulls still stuck in second gear, but some positive signs for Jake White and his men. It's been somewhat of a slow start, but a deliberate tactic nonetheless from the Dragons to put the balls and Bulls and pin them back in their own half, no doubt. Outlaw says Blue Bull poison are working. We hope to see more of that Blue Bull poison to slowly nullify this Dragons team as this game wears on. As they break away from the scrum, the ball's gone straight into touch there. Outlaw, of course, says ons bloed bly blou. I hear you, brother. Kai Evans looking to release his right winger there, but the ball skewing off the side of his boot and going straight into touch. Ewan Rosser. So the Bulls on the 10-meter mark on this right-hand touchline. Inside Dragons territory now. Looking to kick into third gear. Zach Berger. Surely the 9 was played there. Yes, he was. The rules state you can't play the 9, not unless he's picked the ball up. Dan Lydiot there, just losing his focus for a moment and gifting the Bulls a potential 3 points as Chris Smith points straight to the post. The Bulls want to settle it, get some points on the board, and you can't blame them for the moment. We're still at 0-0. Dan Lydiot there giving away that penalty, playing the 9. He didn't have the ball in hand, and the referee was on the spot there. Blew his whistle, and Chris Smith collects himself for the kick here. Utilizing his time on the shot clock, but then going towards the ball. It's a good strike. It's straight through the uprights. It's 3 points for the Bulls. They're on the board. We've got the first points of the game via the boot of Chris Smith. As we see the odd South African fan flying their flag high. They're behind their boys here. In Wales, the Dragons kick off deep into the Bulls 22. The Bulls let it bounce there. Somewhat of a schoolboy error. But these things happen from time to time under the lights. With pressure, players charging you down. It's how you can recover, and the Bulls have recovered there via Zach Berger, who shapes to kick. And he finds a good touch. We're almost up to the 10-meter mark. Still inside the Bulls' territory there. Please give us your score predictions in the comments section, guys. The Bulls up by 3-0. Jake White playing at Currie in the coaching box there. All eyes on this weekend, not looking beyond to next weekend, of course. As the lineout has played the Dragons. They've had quite a bit of possession, but we've also seen them put it into the corners, trying to force the Bulls backwards. Almost an interception there. It's not a deliberate knockdown. Kane Moody almost with the magic hands, and if he got his hands on that ball, it was bye-bye birdie. The Bulls would have been in under the sticks. Almost a good read there from Kane Moody. It's going to be a scrum down to the Dragons. We're just about on halfway. He had all intentions to catch that ball. So no deliberate knockdown. As we close in on this first quarter, been a quite a tense affair, low scoring affair at that, but the ball doing the work into the corners. The Bulls yet to assert themselves physically here as the Dragons break away inside the Bulls half up to their 10-meter mark. Still in possession now. Rodri Williams looking to find support. He finds Coughlin, who's brought to ground. The Bulls trying to get all over it. But the referee says he's having none of it there. And immediately the Bulls give away a penalty and a potential 3 points as the Dragons point to the sticks. It's going to be Kai Evans who will have a shot at goal there. But falling over the ball off his feet was Gerard Steenkamp. Discipline is going to be crucial for the Bulls. His hands were beyond the ball. You've got to keep your body weight. The referee on the spot, no doubt. And the Bulls potentially giving away 3 points here. Kai Evans, the fullback, has had a lot to say so far with his boot, putting the Bulls back, pinning them in their own half. Can he add 3 points and put the Dragons on the board? The strike is good. It's sailing, it's over, and the Dragons draw level. It's 3 apiece as we move into the second quarter of this game. The Bulls are going to have to come into their own, no doubt. As Chris Smith looks to get us underway with the restart. He's gone deep. The chasing players don't have enough time to get to it, so the Dragons will have possession. They're still inside their 22 as Rodri Williams calls for support for the Dragons as he shapes to kick. It's up in the air. The contest is good, but so is the catch from the Bulls via Curtly Orenser as Zach Berger feeds Marcel Coetzee. It's Gumede again getting over the advantage line. The Bulls are going to have to put more than 3 or 4 phases together. Marcel Coetzee again. Can they wear down this Dragons defense by keeping the ball in hand? It's a wide ball now. Sebastian de Klerk manages to recycle. Willie Leroux at first receiver feeds Steenekamp. The Bulls running a little bit laterally at the moment. Almost just about pinned inside their own half, but they look to break away now. Yes, some space, surely. It's Van Staden. It takes a couple to bring him down. The Bulls inside the 22. The kick perhaps too preempted there. And it's Rodri Williams who manages to cover the scrum off. Perhaps the Bulls should have kept that ball in hand. They were on the attack, well over the advantage line with that big run from Marco van Staden. But nonetheless, away with it now come the Bulls. Kainan Moody looks to put a chip ahead, but the cover is good. The ball still in play, though. The Bulls are going to play from inside their own half, centre field. Lovely vision again there from Chris Smith. He's got it on a tee when it comes to his territorial tactical kicking. And it's going to be another 50-22 for the Bulls there. The referees called a penalty to the Bulls. I'm not too sure what that was for. I think one of the Dragons players threw the ball away. Yep. In fact, he kicked it away, and immediately the referee said he's having none of that. So the Bulls have an opportunity now with the driving maul. Nokia takes it well. Jan Hendrik Wessels breaks away from the back of the maul. And here come the Bulls via Harold Foster. Defensively, the Dragons holding their own for the moment. Marco van Staden head down. Route 1. Off their feet at the breakdown. The Bulls over eager to secure that ball. It's all happening a bit frenetically at the moment. Jake White, I tell you, for the hair that he's got left on his head, will be pulling that out in frustration for the moment, because the Bulls finding themselves in the right areas of the field. But then on the last moment, just ill discipline costing them there for the moment. It's going to be a penalty to the Dragons. Still 3-3, 25 minutes gone in the first half. The Bulls will have to get their discipline in order on attack. They haven't been asked too many questions on defense. But with ball in hand, you want to have more ball security and dictate the play. They say be more proactive than reactive. And it's just that ill discipline at the breakdown, going off their feet, that perhaps is costing them tonight. Orkut Gravenstein says, come on, Bulls, let's focus and stick to the plan. I agree with you there, brother. Just a little bit hasty for the moment at the breakdown there. This time it was Marcel Coetzee going off his feet, costing his side some wonderful positioning on the field, and the Dragons put it into touch from that penalty. Coughlin feeds the line out. It's secure for the Dragons on their own 10-meter mark. 5 meters in from this left-hand touchline. They want to use it. There is forward momentum. The Bulls doing all they can to disrupt it there. It's gone to ground. But the ball does present itself, and Rodri Williams shapes. Looks for an attack. Attacking player to contest that kick, but the Bulls come away with it. Willie Leroux with soft hands. Can the Bulls exploit this right-hand side now? Currie Orense goes in. At the breakdown, we want to see him in space. But doing the hard graft there, Marco van Staden takes it up with another strong carry. Leroux again. Jan-Hendrik Wessels can't get away from the last line of defense here. Dan Lydiot wraps him up. No advantage there, the Bulls. Coming back, it was a free play. I just missed what the penalty was for. I think it was offside. At ruck time there. The Dragons, so the Bulls will have another opportunity. And perhaps some more drama to be had here, as the referee has signalled to the TMO. Is there going to be some cards coming out of the pocket here? All eyes on the fly-off. Will read there. Going in with his foot. I don't think that's allowed at all. Stomping on the hand of Zach Berger. And that's going to be a yellow card, surely. The referee's made his mind up pretty quickly. And Will Reid will be in the bin for 10 minutes. Had a hollow brain for the moment there. No rugby IQ. Went in with the boot and just about stomped on the hand as Zach Berger was trying to clear that ball. And the Bulls decide that they're going to put it into touch on this right-hand touchline. Sebastian de Klerk off the field as we see the introduction of Devin Williams. An early injury for the Bulls as they break away from the line-out with the driving maul here. It's set up well from the Bulls, everybody getting involved. Surely that was sacked deliberately. The Bulls looking to play for free. Yeah, Willie Leroux to Currie Orense. They tried to take his head off, but he put the ball down over the line. And Currie Orense opens up the account in as far as tries are concerned for the Bulls. Our blood is blue. Currie Orense's eyes were set on the try line. The defender made no attempt to dip there. Surely that's going to be a penalty. Quick hands there from Kane Moody. Just couldn't find the support, but the ball was picked up by Willie Leroux, who had the presence of mind to shift it wide down this left-hand touchline, coming off his left wing onto the right wing is Currie Orense, and the Bulls up by 8 points to 3 with the kick to come. Chris Smith tucked up against this left-hand touchline. Has he got the direction? It's sailing, sailing off the upright and over. In favour of the Bulls there, the upright, adding the extra 2. But it was a lovely bit of distribution from Willie LaRue to Currie Orense. And he goes down for another try. Aren't we used to seeing that, the Springbok winger flying over the try line? We most certainly look forward to him come international season, no doubt, for the Springboks. As the Bulls get the restart inside their 22 by the safe hands of Marcel Coetzee. The stalwart of South African rugby, Zach Burger, puts it up in the air, and the Bulls kind of feeling the momentum shift for the moment. Can they move this ball? Pumped up field by Willie LaRue, but back there in cover is Kai Evans, who returns the favour. Willie LaRue positioning himself well. The Bulls still have possession. They're inside the half here. As Willie LaRue is at first receiver, finds Ruan for mark, and they recycle quickly now. It's Kainan Moody looking to stretch his legs. They're up to the 10-meter mark, the Bulls, with a spring in their step for the moment. With that one-man advantage, can they exploit it here? Keep the ball alive, find the space, wear down this defense of the Dragons. Moody again, Foster, Chris Smith, off Harold Foster. The Bulls not making too many meters. And then, unfortunately, don't secure the ball at the breakdown there. So everybody, it seemed for the moment, wanted to be involved with having the ball in hand, but they need to secure the ball at the breakdown there. And a wonderful counter-ruck effort there from the Dragons. They get the penalty. Kai Evans with ball in hand, just inside his own half, will have the opportunity now to set up a line out inside the Bulls' half. It's 10-3 for the away side, but still nonetheless a close contest here. The Bulls are going to have to keep their composure, do the basics right, playing the ball on the ground there, no doubt. Fair call from the referee. It's a loose ball. It's relief for the Bulls as they come away with it. Marco van Staden beats another tackler. Can the Bulls shift it down this right-hand side? It's put along the ground by Harold Foster. The Dragons in possession. Rodri Williams looks to break away. Runs straight into Wilco Low, but the referee says penalty to the Dragons. The Bulls offside there, a little bit over-eager on defence. Few areas for the coaching staff of the Bulls to conversate about at half-time. Handling errors, keeping the ball, securing the ball at the breakdown, and perhaps looking at their discipline when it comes to the breakdown, especially the easy ones. I say the easy ones, but at ruck time, you want to be behind the last man's feet, especially if you're not under so much pressure. The Bulls were deep in the half of the Dragons there. So a little bit of their own undoing there, the Bulls and the Dragons, as a result are now working their way up to the 22 of the Bulls. They win the line out. It's a driving maul. The Bulls don't want that decision to cost them. Still a man up. The Dragons not lying down though. The Bulls all over that ball. Legally so, says the referee. It's Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Very strong on the ground. In that forward pack, a guy like Harold Foster, no doubt, in the back line, also strong over the ball. So the Bulls are going to have to disrupt that ball, slow it down, and assert themselves. Really, they're still in second gear, one feels. But they do have the penalty, and Chris Smith puts it into touch just on halfway. And they'll have the line-out feed. Still up. Still a couple of minutes left before Will Reid comes back onto the field. So the Bulls would need to exploit that yellow card. Perhaps going to half-time with another try. On halfway, they feed Ruan Nokia. And they go with the driving maul. The Bulls want to break away. Surely that was offside there, Mr. Ref. The referee says play on. Zach Berger was swarmed as he tried to clear the ball, but he had no time. And as a result, it's been turned over here. The Dragons look to shift it down this left-hand touchline. Currie Arendse, strong on defence, but up to the 10-metre mark are the Dragons centre field. In possession, Rodri Williams. Again, Kai Evans, this time around, finding Currie Arendse, who covered well. But it must be said, not a great clearance there from the Springbok winger. So nonetheless, it is a net gain for the Dragons. But the away side, the Vodacom Bulls, still lead by 10 points to 3. We're about 3 minutes away from half-time. A tight affair here in Wales. Give us your score prediction, how you think the second half is going to pan out. Whether you're a Stormers fan, whether perhaps you're a Bulls fan watching, whether you're a Dragons fan, a Leinster fan. We're all rugby fans at the end of the day. And no doubt it's going to be quite a challenge for the away side, the way this game is shaping up. And the yellow card, the fly half. Will Reid is back on the field, so the Bulls there are going to play 15 against 15. They're going to have to kick into third, fourth gear in that second half. But no doubt it was always going to be a challenge. Their first game on the road in a while, the Vodacom Bulls. Strong bench for the Bulls, no doubt, should have an impact come second half as the legs get tired. The attrition rate starts to build up. But we're down for a scrum here. The Vodacom Bulls to feed just outside their 22. 20 metres in from this left-hand touchline. Still lead by 10 to 3. There's just over a minute to play until half-time. I'd love to be in that team room at half-time to hear how the coaches dissect that first half. It's been quite an iffy affair. We saw the tactics of the Dragons. The Bulls looked dangerous when they had the ball in hand, but not putting enough phases together, one feels. As the referee resets the scrum. Robin Wood says the Bulls warmed up enough now. They got to come out firing in that second half. I agree with you there, Robin. 100%, my brother. Into the last minute of the first half here. The Bulls with the scrum feed. This time around, it's solid here. Wilco Low will always keep it strong, keep it steady, as Harold Foster looks to break away. The Dragons doing all they can to disrupt it, but the Bulls are perhaps going to wind the clock down now. They see the time just about ticking up on normal time. The referee is stop play for the moment here. A little bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of drama just before half time. And it's Marco van Staden who has been summoned by the referee, as well as Sean Lonsdale. The referee taking a no-nonsense approach. This is not mixed martial arts, although us as fans want to see that. Definitely some off-the-ball stuff there. Marco van Staden not holding back for a minute. But there's no octagon. This is a rugby field, and the Bulls put it into touch, and interestingly enough, have decided that they're going to go for the line out. So they're looking to play here, but they have to secure the line out. Ruan Vermaak at the front. Under Hendrik Wessels to feed its Gomede. The Bulls want to set up a driving maul here. 15 meters in from this left-hand touchline, Zach Berger. Looks to get the ball. He has a bit of argy-bargy now, surely. Couple of players getting involved. It's Wilco Low, Gerard Steenkamp, the big boys. The Dragons looking for reinforcements. A little bit of excitement just before half-time. The Bulls don't seem too concerned. They know they got the loose head, the tight head on the scrum off, and then some reinforcements for the Dragons there, tugging of the jerseys. Surely now you don't want a piece of this, says Wilco Low. Rodri Williams, unfortunately, most certainly will come off second best there. So like a scrum off to be as cheeky as ever, one feels. And the referee's going to have to get a hold of this game. Well into stoppage time here in the first half. The referee calling the captain over. Or the captains of both sides, Marcel Coetzee and Steph Hughes. Saying we've got to keep this UFC stuff to a minimum. This is rugby. Come on, it's URC. Let's do the business between the four lines with the rugby ball. Not with our fists. Always interesting though, there's men on the rugby field. You see the tugging of the jerseys. They just can't get a slap in or a fist. Obviously, that'll be a straight red. So you've got to give him a little tug of the jersey just to assert yourself. And then they tug back. And as a result, the Bulls penalty has been turned over, and Will Reid has put the Dragons into the Bulls 22 on this left-hand touchline. The Bulls had the penalty and decided that they're going to get stuck in to the diminutive scrum off, and the referee has overturned the penalty. That's a bit of ill discipline. Off the ball stuff needs to stop now. as exciting as it is for a fan to watch the Dragons being thwarted here with the driving maul after winning that line out. It's gone to ground. Nothing comes of it. The referee is going to call half-time, folks. Go and get your refreshments. That is the first half. The Bulls away to the Dragons, up by 10 points to 3. Don't go anywhere. Or if you do, fill up your drinks, cup of coffee, whatever it is for that matter, and join me here for the second half in a bit. Until then, see you now. Hello and welcome back to the second half. We're almost underway, and so far it's the Vodacom Bulls, the away side, who hold that one score lead by 10 points to 3. They'll take us through the second half from right to left as the referee gets us underway. In the second half, can the Bulls make it a clean sweep for the South African teams this weekend? Wouldn't that be a pleasure? As we welcome all the fans tuning in from South Africa or everywhere around the world. Do give a shout out as to where you tuned in from, as well as perhaps your score prediction for this game as the Bulls look to come away with the victory away from home and put themselves in that second spot as they face off against Leinster next weekend, which could potentially be a battle of 1 and 2, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. As the Dragons break away from that line out, they're still inside their own half from the restart, working their way up to halfway now in possession, looking for some shape on attack. Kai Evans is met on defence, just short of halfway. Not over the advantage line for the moment, but it's the right winger there, Ewan Rosso, who goes in to play scrum off. Rodri Williams now at the base, shaping to kick perhaps here, not gaining any meters really on attack. The Bulls stern on defence, but it's a high contestable kick. It's a loose ball. Who wants it? Claimed by George Knott. Up to the Bulls' 10-metre mark. So that 50-50 kick has worked out in favour of the Dragons as they pump it upfield. Willie Leroux covering at fullback. Looks to find a solid touch, which he does. But a territorial gain, it must be said, there for the Dragons. What was the team talk like at half-time for the Bulls? The Dragons to feed the line out via Elliot D. Rodri Williams to Will Reid. It's a loose ball. The Dragons forced back a couple of meters. And the resulting knock-on. Looked up on defence and saw Markov and started charging at you. It's a no wonder you knocked the ball on there as the Bulls make their first substitution, or at least their second one, after that early injury to Sebastian de Klerk. Johan Grobler on the field for Jan Hendrik Wessels. Very good over the ball at ruck time, slowing the opposition ball down, Johan Grobler. So tactical change here for the Bulls. Perhaps shedding some light on the thoughts of Jake White. He knows the bench, the finishers as they call them, will have a big part to play in this game. It's a solid scrum from both sides. Zach Berger been asked by the referee to use it as the Bulls break away down this right-hand side. It's Kanan Moody to Kurtley Orense, who frees himself up, not held in the tackle. He can play on. The Bulls up to the 22 now. Smith. Willie Leroux with a little cross kick. Is there an opportunity? Wonderful hands! Mpilo Kumede! Try time! Yeah, man! Wonderful stuff there. A sleight of hand after the vision of Willie Leroux and a worthy finisher in Mpilo Gumede. But that's the experience that the World Cup winning fullback brings. Saw there was a man out wide. Devin Williams, beautiful hands. Sleight of hand with a soft offload to Gumede around the corner. And he came flying, and over the try line. The Bulls start the second half on fire here. And it's Mpilo Gumede who gets their second try. The kick to come. The Bulls up by 15 points to 3. Chris Smith shapes the kick. His compass is on target because it's an extra 2 points. Make that 17 points to 3. And that's how you want to start the second half. One feels when the Bulls have had the moments on attack, they have been somewhat more threatening. And on that occasion, Willie Leroux unlocked the defense with the lovely cross kick. Devin Williams with the catch and the soft feed to Mpilo Gumede. The Bulls up by 17 to 3. Popela Moketse says, the Bulls break away here. I'll read your comment now there, brother. But it's just a loose ball there. It was Currie Orense down this right-hand side. I took my moment. Or for a moment, I took my eyes off the screen, and the Bulls are almost up to the 22, but have conceded possession. Popela Moketse, as I was saying, says, I hope Leinster come with a strong team. A game I've been waiting for, no doubt. My brother, no doubt. But the Bulls kicking into fourth gear now, perhaps. There's some fire in the belly as Zach Berger has it from the base. Dragons kicking away possession, perhaps relying too much on that for the moment. And a lovely little chip ahead from Harold Foster. Some brilliance there in the midfield from the inside centre, regathering his kick. The Bulls in possession. Hot on attack, it's Kane Moody. Putting boot to ball, but finding the boot of a Dragons player, and away comes Currie Orense. Look out! It's Currie Orense! Right up to the 10-meter mark. And he feeds Van Staden, who feeds Nokia. This is how quickly it can all happen for the Bulls. Smith, Devin Williams on this left wing. The Bulls breaking away here now. 7 meters out from the try line. The Dragons all over the place on defense. They can't keep up this tempo. The Bulls are over again. This time it's the big man, Wilco Low, who's on the receiving end of that pass, running a wonderful support line. But it has to go all the way back to Currie Orense. If we take it back a few phases, Kane Moody put it on the boot with the grubber. It found a Dragon's foot and they kicked it ahead. But in cover at the back was Kane, or should I say Currie Orense. Took his time to assess the situation and then broke away. Wonderfully found support in Marco van Staden. Ruan Nokia, the lock forward, and from then on in, the speed of the ruck was just too quick. Devin Williams on the receiving end on this left wing, holding off the defender just long enough. Reinforcements arrived. And the Bulls via Wilco Low are up to their third try, but for the moment it looks like the referee is going to be in conversation here with the TMO. They're looking at that pass of Chris Smith to Devon Williams. Perhaps it being a forward pass. I can't see how they'd call that a forward pass. But it happened just a few phases before the try. And in fact, they're going to overrule it. Would you believe it? It's not going to be a try for the big man. Would have been exciting times for the tight head prop. Really coming to his own this season. One of the standout performers in this Bulls pack, amongst others, such as Mpilo Gumede. But that last pass from Chris Smith to Devon Williams, that was a few phases just before the try, is what they're calling a forward pass. Musa Bokbas says Bulls go for the kill shot now. That would have been right up there had they got that try via Wilco Low. But for the moment, they're going to bring it back at 17-3. It's going to be a scrum down to the Dragons, 20 meters or 15 meters in from this left-hand touchline on the 22-meter mark. That would have been a great try there. And it all originated from deep inside the Bulls' half. We see how electric Kurt Lee Orenser can be. From nothing can create something spectacular just about there. But we will restart with the scrum to the Dragons. The referee has made his call, the TMO. And the referee's decision is final. No highlight reel there for Wilco Low. But nonetheless, the Bulls kicking into that fourth gear now as they restart here with the scrum. Wainwright on the field for the Dragons at number 8. Looking to break away and up over halfway. So the Bulls on defense, leaking a few tackles there. The Dragons in the Bulls half now on the 10-meter mark. Post-contact meters good here for the Dragons. Just like that, the tide could perhaps turn. But it's a lovely spot tackle from Marco van Staden, who's been as busy as ever. The referee on the spot. You kind of felt the clean-out was from the side. You got to come from the back. For the Bulls, it's going to be a penalty to the Dragons. So the Bulls are going to have to cruise for the moment. But not go back in gears. They're going to have to stay in fourth gear, and then come 60th minute, in my opinion, could hit that fifth gear. Tiptronic. But for the moment there, Marco van Staden just coming in from the side. In front of the referee, it must be said. You got to come from the hindmost feet for it to be a legal clean out there. But we see a little bit of injection of enthusiasm from this Dragons packer forwards with the introduction of Aaron Wainwright, the Welsh international. The Bulls still up by 17-3. Wainwright again involved in the action. The Dragons into the 22 of the Bulls now. Looking for some attacking prowess of their own, as the Bulls must settle on defense and keep their shape here. The Dragons for the moment being held out by the stern defense of the Bulls. And again over the ball there. The work of Mpilo Gumede, who's got a try already on his feet. And the Bulls have an opportunity to exit here. So for all that worth, for all their play upfield, the Dragons will come up with nothing. The Bulls still up by 2 tries to 0. The only points the Dragons have are from that penalty early on. But it's Gumede who's having a solid performance. Future Springbok in the making, no doubt. Then it's the Bulls who make their way into the territory of the Dragons here. Up and over the 10-meter mark on this right-hand touchline. The Bulls to feed the line out via Johan Grobler. Get the basics right. That's the order of the day, and the Bulls do that. It's the middle of the line out. It's a maul. Grobler with the ball secure at the back as the Bulls start moving forward. Zackberger asked to use it. Marcel Coetzee in possession. Brought to ground. It's Zackberger who plays down this right-hand blind side now on the 10-meter mark still. But still in possession, the Bulls. Via Nizam Kar, who's on the field for Marco van Staden. This time it's Ruan Nokia who takes it up. Is there an opportunity here now down this right-hand side? It's Arendse. Always looks dangerous with ball in hand. The Bulls playing under advantage. But it's that slow poison we were talking about earlier on, should I say. That's perhaps coming into its own now. The Dragons showing glimpses with ball in hand, but it's the Bulls who are making the most of the territory now. Slowly killing off this defense. How long can the Dragons keep this up for? As the Bulls put it into the corner here on this right-hand touchline, will we see a deja vu, a driving maul? It's Johan Grobler with ball in hand. The Bulls 12 meters out on this right-hand touchline. And we're going to see Zackberger being replaced by perhaps another player unlucky not to be part of the Springbok mix. Ambrose Pape really having a phenomenal season under Jake White here in the URC. It's a loose ball and the Dragons contest. And the Bulls concede possession there. An unforced error there, it must be said. The Bulls not securing the basics at line-out time, but it was a contest. Perhaps the Bulls not expecting that, but nonetheless the away side still up by 17-3 in case you missed it. As we close in on this third quarter, and it's that final 20 that will make all the difference. The Bulls still 2 tries away from the bonus point. For now, they just want to keep themselves clear in terms of distance. The Dragons will need to do all the playing in that final 20. The Bulls then can perhaps look and search with intent for that bonus point if there's enough breathing room. But the Bulls will have the line out here. Just on the 10-meter mark, just about of Dragons territory. It's back of the line-out ball, but it's a maul. And it's Ruan Nokia who's rallying the troops after getting that ball from the line-out. Johan Grobler breaks away with intent. Head down, route 1. Nokia to Gerard Stennekamp. The Bulls securing the ball this time. It's Grobler again from Ambrose Papier, the replacement scrum half. The Dragons not committing too many numbers at ruck time. Nizam Carr. The Bulls playing down the blind here. The referee on the spot calling a forward pass there from Currie Orense to Kanan Moody, just running out of space, but nonetheless a forward pass. Just messing a little bit with the flow there. It was actually Willie Leroux to Currie Orense, and then Currie Orense to Mpilo Gomede. Sleight of hand, slightly forward, says the referee. Gifting possession back to the Dragons. The Bulls still 2 clear converted scores ahead here at 17-3. The home side have it all to do. And the Bulls get a free kick on the spot. No patience there at scrum time, early engagement. And immediately the Bulls, via Marcel Coetzee, call for a scrum. They want to do it all over again. Never shy of the physicality, this Vodacom Bulls side. Always renowned for their physicality, but under Jake White, have definitely come into their own in so many different areas than just having that brute force. A lot of well-rounded players all across the park for the Bulls, as we mentioned, even on the bench with the finishers. And they will no doubt have a part to play, as we say, what impact they can make. Jake White seems to know when he wants to pull that trigger in as far as bringing them on. The Bulls, strong scrum. Ambrose Papier looking to get it out, but the referee calling for a reset here. Taking the life out of this Dragons forward pack. The Bulls, no doubt, being the more physical team. They'll want a solid scrum here. Inside the half of the Dragons. Push on for that third try. They've got to do it from 40 meters. We're 5 meters in from this right-hand touchline inside Dragons territory. And a penalty, says the referee. They can't handle the pressure. It goes down on the loose head side, and that's the side of Wilco Lowe. And the Bulls will have a penalty now and send it down this right-hand touchline and into the 22. In fact, the ball hasn't gone into touch. The angle of the kick wasn't so great from Willie Leroux there. Now looking for a 50-22. So an unforced error there. The Bulls going a few meters back there. As we see some attention to the fullback, Kai Evans. Maybe pulled a hamstring. He's been kicking the ball all night. Just fading back in field. Willie Leroux perhaps looking for a bit too many meters, trying to shove it in that corner. But as a result, through all that kicking duels, the Bulls have gone back a few meters, but they will have the feed to the line out. Still up by 17-3. Good news if you're a South African fan. As we mentioned early on, in case you did miss the results, the Sharks defeating Ulster by 22 points to 12. The Stormers defeating Edinburgh by 43 points to 21. The Lions, with 14 men for pretty much of 65 minutes, defeating Connacht by 38 points to 14, which is arguably one of the best results for an away side in the URC, a South African team. And then, of course, the Bulls ahead. Yeah, so wonderful weekend in the URC as the Bulls win the line-out. Players restarted. Marco van Staden breaks away. Advantage, says the referee. Tackled around the head. We're up on halfway. Ambrose Papier to Grobler. He's brought to ground, but the ball is recycled. Here the Bulls have an opportunity, perhaps, with the chip over the top. Nothing comes of it. The referee's going to come back as a result of that high tackle on Marco van Staden. We're about 15 meters in from this left-hand touchline on halfway. Chris Smith has somewhat of a better angle here on this left-hand side to put it into touch. And we're just outside the 22 now. So a couple of good meters there for the Bulls now to perhaps set up a driving maul. You'd think they'd back themselves as we see the introduction of Simpiwe Matanzima. The fresh legs come on the field. Lucid for Lucid. Gerard Stennekamp has been busy all evening. Just seems to be stepping rather gingerly on his foot there. Seems like an ankle injury. Ankle injury. As the Bulls opt for a quick play in the line-out. Grobler to Harold Foster. Massive hit in centre field. Not committing too many numbers, the Dragons at breakdown. But another slight unforced error at the breakdown. Just losing it forward. It's going to be a scrum down, so a little bit stop-start. The Bulls are going to need to keep their composure here. They want that third try to put themselves in a position to get that fourth try. The Dragons have not really threatened on attack enough to put the Bulls under any sort of real pressure for as long as they stay in this area of the field. 15 minutes to play. It's a scrum down. We're 15 meters in from this right-hand touchline on the 22 of the Dragons. Wainwright at the back is put under some enormous pressure by Ambrose Papier, and as a result, the scrum has flipped. It's the Bulls' ball now. They will have the feed to the scrum. The replacement number 8 didn't anticipate Ambrose Papier. Almost leaning over the flank there to get a hold of him, but he did just enough to cause him to fumble the ball. And the Bulls now inside the 22, 15 meters in from this right-hand touchline, have possession back via scrum, and it's Ambrose Papier who will feed for the Vodacom Bulls. Strong scrum from the Bulls here. Somehow the Dragons have come away with it. The ball's popped loose. Wonderful tackle by Kainan Moody, covering there at number 13. cut across the field. The Dragons, however, still managed to retain possession. It's a loose ball now. Can the Bulls put pressure on here? The Dragons going back a few meters there with that loose pass. But remember, they're going to have to play now. They can't rely on the tactics that they did early on in that first half. As the scrum half here looks to shape for a kick and clear some pressure, and finds touch on this right-hand touch line, conceding possession to the Bulls. Pretty solid line out this evening for the Bulls. The Dragons yet to really threaten on attack, as we see the introduction of Reinhard Ludwig. A lot has been spoken about him as well. The young man coming off the bench. What impact can he make? The Bulls again, their own undoing at line-out time, have gifted the Dragons an opportunity to clear deep. But it's Willie Leroux who covers well. Kurt Lee Orense breaks away from one, from two. Brought to ground on halfway. Ambrose Papier puts it on the boot. But it's the Dragons who return the ball. Now it's Willie Leroux to Harold Foster. Grubbers it ahead. It's a kicking duel here for the moment. Willie Leroux finds Chris Smith. Kainan Moody. Is there an opportunity for Moody? Devin Williams gets it off Kainan Moody, but he's tackled backwards. The Bulls have to secure the ball. They don't do so. And it's Wainwright again. Aaron Wainwright showing his true value, the international of Wales, doing enough to disrupt the Bulls at breakdown time. And the Dragons have an opportunity now to put it deep into the Bulls' territory on this left-hand touchline. They've really got to get a shift in if they want to get back into this game. There's still enough time. I hate to say it, but a try could make it some nervy moments here. We're 15 meters out from the Bulls' try line as the Dragons look to maul it upfield. The Bulls, for the moment, thwarting that maul, doing just enough. The referee's on the spot, and he's called for it. Nothing comes of it. The maul goes to ground, and the Bulls will have the feed to the scrum. For the home side, perhaps, almost certainly an opportunity lost to get back into this game. The away side still lead by 2 scores. It's 17-3. With just over 11 minutes to play. The Bulls will have a scrum to exit here. About 8 meters from their own try line via Ambrose Papier. We tucked up against this left-hand touch line. The referee still trying to get the scrum down right. Having a word with Wilco Lowe as well as the front row of the Dragons. No blame to be had there as we reset the scrum. Ambrose Papier to feed for the Bulls. It's a solid hit. The Bulls putting the pressure on and the referee awarding the penalty, rightfully so. It's again Wilco Low putting his opposite number under all sorts of pressure. And if you can't handle the pressure or the heat, get out of the kitchen, young man. It's Wilco Low who was denied a try. Still putting in a shift at scrum time there. The Bulls with the clearance up to the 22 with that penalty kick to feed via Johan Grobler to Ludwig. Grobler gets it off him. Still inside the 22 here, an opportunity now for Ambrose Papier to shape from the base with a kick, which he does. The contest and chase from Devin Williams. But it's Jared Rosser who has some safe hands under that high ball, and the Dragons come away with possession and set up a ruck. They're just inside their own half. As the scrum off of the Dragons shapes for his own kick. Who wants it? Playing under advantage now, the referee says. And the Dragons come away with it via Ewan Rosser. There's an opportunity out wide. The Bulls are going to have to keep their shape on defense here. The Dragons keeping the ball alive, making this big Bulls pack move in all sorts of positions. Here's an opportunity. Ewan Rosser involved again, just stopped short by Willie LaRue. Knock on advantage, Wainwright goes in. That scrum off, but still in possession, the Dragons. 15 meters out, the Bulls defending for their lives. This time around, the Bulls all over that ball and winning the penalty, driving them back. Steph Hughes having a conversation with the referee. I suppose he can. He's the captain. Not satisfied at all. But the referee said, you had a scrum advantage, not a penalty advantage. It went 2 or 3 passes. We ain't going back for that. Deal with it. The Bulls will look to clear with the penalty down this right-hand touchline, which they do. Fine touch and get out of their own half now. It's gone into a bit of a limbo for the Bulls after that early try in the second half. That disallowed try from Wilco Low, perhaps deflating them somewhat. But for a moment they looked on fire. Still stuck in 4th gear, the Bulls. But 4th gear might just be enough. Here in Wales this evening, the Bulls via Ludwig again. This time around, the Maul driving forward from the offset. Use it once, says the referee Grobler. To Ambrose Papier now. Devin Williams, he's got wonderful feet. Can he get the ball back? Just on the last moment, the bounce of the ball evading Devin Williams, but a wonderful job there from the replacement on for Sebastian de Klerk, disrupting. The ball there was Johan Grobler, and it was knocked forward. So after that chip ahead, it was Jared Rosser who had to do the clean-up work for the Dragons deep inside their 22. But under some big pressure from the chasing Bulls players, amongst others, Willie LaRue, Harold Foster, and Johan Grobler as well coming in there. And as a result, the Bulls will have the scrum now. They're about 15 meters out from the Dragons try line. Five meters in from this left-hand touchline. Okkot Gravenstein says the Bulls not getting momentum with this stop-start. Can't help but agree with you there. Just not able to kick off into that fifth, sixth gear Tiptronic mode as they were against the Stormers a couple of weeks back. But here come the Bulls breaking away via Marcel Coetzee. Ambrose Papier looking to break away from the base. No one's going to stop him. They tried to tug on his jersey, but that's not enough because Ambrose Papier has gone over for the Bulls. That's try number 3. The replacement scrum off showing his worth off the bench, putting the Bulls up to 22 points to 3. And one feels that is game, set and match. Now the Bulls can chase for that bonus point with only a handful of minutes to play. But the pillar around the ruck wasn't there. Wainwright was too late. And then they tried to pull on his jersey. But he's too elusive for that. The Dragons being slayed here this evening, albeit the Bulls not in full tilt. As the restart is made, the Bulls get the conversion. It's 24 points to 3. Now they can play with ball in hand, with the freedom to chase that bonus point with just over 3 minutes to play. The kick has gone from Ambrose Papier, but away with it come the Dragons. And the Bulls get possession though. Ruan Nokia to Johan Grobler on halfway, right up against this left-hand touchline. The Bulls want to play with ball in hand now. Kanan Moody getting the ball off Willie LaRue, but the referee says it's gone forward. An unforced error there. The Bulls looking to attack, chasing that bonus point. Just that last pass letting them down there. Devet Burning says Bulls will be the only team that can't score 4 tries against the Dragons. It's been a tough evening there, my brother, in Wales. Coming off a bit of a break from the internationals in the Six Nations. So the Bulls will definitely need to find their rhythm come Leinster next weekend. But taking 4 points away from home, no doubt, was the first task. And it's job done for the Bulls, albeit a little bit stop-start. They haven't conceded a try. That's a good thing. And just as I say that, the Dragons look to break away. And they get a try of their own. It's no bonus point for the Bulls. It's the first try for the Dragons. Momentary lapse there on defense for the Bulls. Caught napping on this right-hand touchline. Willie LaRue and Kurt Lee Orenson. It's the Dragons who'll go in. It's 24 points to 8 with the kick to come. Pride Papa says, "Hulle gaan vir die bonuspunt, manne. Ek stem saam met jou. But at the moment, The Dragons get the conversion. They're into double figures. It's 24 points to 10. It's going to be a victory for the Bulls. But they would have liked that points difference to be where it was. But nonetheless, we're in reality now. And we restart. And Matanzima manages to get the ball from the restart for the Bulls. Time is up. Surely that's going to be a penalty. Surely that's going to be a yellow card. You can't. Never mind, we saw earlier someone trying to kick the ball out of the hand of the scrum off. This was a deliberate knockdown of the ball out of the hand. You can't play his arm. You can't hit the ball out of his hand. This is not basketball, sir. And the Bulls. Fine touch. On this left-hand touchline now, about 10 meters out. Will we see a driving maul and a bonus point here? Richard Currie says a victory for the Bulls is fine. You're right, Richard, but we want to see that bonus point too, just for that little bit of razzle-dazzle. It's Grobler at the base. The Bulls go all the way. It's try time. Would you believe it? Yes, I would. They left it to the final minute. In fact, it's into extra time. The Bulls up by 29 points to 10. They just conceded a try. And after that silly error in slapping the ball out of the scrum half's hand, the Bulls put it in the corner, said, let's drive one more time so that we can score one more time. And that is the bonus point. That is 5 in the bag for the Bulls. It's Johan Grobler, the replacement hooker, who scores try number 4 for the Bulls. The conversion inconsequential, although, as we mentioned, it will make a difference in terms of points difference come into the season. Chris Smith, sailing, adds the extra 2. And that is a wonderful away victory for the Vodacom Bulls against the Dragons here in Wales. The Bulls, Jake White and his men come away with the victory by 31 points to 10. It's been an absolute pleasure from myself, Roots, to take you through this one. It's a clean sweep for the South African sides. From myself here on Forever Rugby and Forever Sports. Until next time, I say bye for now.